Hello and welcome. Today's story is A Passionate Snake, written by Ella Higginson, read by Nayanomiku. If any man supposes that snakes do not understand the speech of human tongues, I, being a snake, will, in this short story, convince him that he is mistaken. I may convince him of some other truths also. We are the accursed of the earth. We have only to be seen to be straightway killed. Every man's hand is against us, not because of his own hate, for men are not cowards, but because of the hate of his women. We have learned, therefore, through ages of cruel treachery, to make our blows swift and sure. Yet I say to men with scorn that we are more honorable and more merciful than they. We give warning before we strike. We give each man one chance at least for his life. More, we strike only when our lives are threatened or our privacy invaded. I, being a female thing, have known love. I, most beautiful and graceful have I been from my birth. My form is slender and supple. My movements are sinuous and alluring. The grasses sway in languid undulations, caressing me as I slide slowly through them. My markings are of rich and unusual beauty and brilliancy. It is said that my eyes take on the color of my moods and passions. When I lie basking in the sunlight, they have the pale blue content of the skies. When I lift myself erect, suspecting danger or treachery, they are like two glittering green emeralds. When I am jealous, what female thing has not been? They are a pale umber yellow. Once it was said to me that they were, but that must wait. But I'm beautiful. So beautiful that other female snakes hate me. And I heard a man exclaim, "God, what a handsome thing," one day, even as he lifted his heel to crush me. My beauty saved me, for looking, he struck so reluctantly that I slid away and escaped. I was born in a pile of stones on a hill in the lovely Grand Ronde Valley in Oregon. From my father, a rattlesnake, I inherited my strong will and fierce passions. From my mother, a blue racer who had been lured away from her kin down in the green valley, my beauty and grace. Before I was 3 months old, I had tasted fame. All the male snakes on the hill came to watch me as I coiled and uncoiled my magnificent length over the stones of my home. And oh, I used to wish that the mated ones would not come, for their mates said such evil things of me. But they would come. One day in spring, when I was a year old, the king of all the rattlesnakes himself came to see my beauty, and he desired me greatly, although I was so young and he so old. My father was proud and fluttered, but there was a young and bold blue racer who used to climb the hill from the valley, and on soft, moonless evenings, when my father slept and my mother pretended that she did not hear, I slid down and met him among the deep grasses that grew halfway up the hill. Ah, those hours of first love. Poor human things who pass your nights within the four walls of a room, I pity you. We were only snakes, but we had the night and all its sweets woven forever through our love. Soft winds scented with the pines of the crests of the blue mountains rippled the grasses above us as we tasted the bliss of loving companionship. The nighthawk sang to blow his shrill bugle note beside us. The stars glowed redly through the breathing dusk. From the canyons far up in the hills came the mournful cry of a coyote. Down under the velvet grasses, it was dark and sweet, and we were alone, and we loved. When at length I stole home and coiled myself on the smooth stones, I could not sleep. I lay motionless until the pale greens and yellows came marching up the east, and the trees on the mountain's crest turned one by one to gold, and the meadowlarks sang oh so sweetly in the valley, where I knew he lay as motionless as I, dreaming of joys that had been, and longing for those that were to be. There was a full month of such bliss, but a day came when my father knew, and that night the king of the rattlesnakes went down the hill in my stead and lay in wait for his rival. When I was convinced that they had killed him, I stole away in the night and made my way to the other side of the valley, and dwelt alone on another hill and mourned There were no snakes and there were no human things. And oh, the days were long, and the nights were lonely. Deep and passionate was my grief through all the spring and summer and fall. When winter drew on, how glad was I to curl myself in a dark, warm place for my long sleep. I recall that my last thought was of how dreary and heartbreaking my awakening would be in the spring. Yet, when the awakening came, well, I am a female thing, and that must be sufficient explanation. It was on a warm and lovely day in April that I languidly uncoiled and slid out to lie upon the stones. Never shall I forget how the beauty of that day thrilled me. I was glad, I exulted only to live once more. My memories of love and sorrow seemed vague. Had I ever wished to die? Well, now I longed to live. The valley stretched before my eyes, green and shining like a great emerald. There were splashes of yellow where the buttercups grew, and there were shooting stars and all the sweet winds of spring. I remember my first glimpse of myself in a still pool that spring. You may have observed a woman reft of her love in your own life, you human things. You may have seen her tears, her anguish, her garb of woe. Then, when a few months have gone by, you must have one day had your eyes dazzled by her sudden blossoming out into a new and wonderful beauty. You must have marveled at the color in her cheeks, the brilliancy of her eyes, the warmth of her mouth, the subtle grace of her movements. So it was with me. Life throbbed once more through all my being. The loneliness grew unbearable. One day, as I lay curled, half asleep, I heard a step. A moment later, a man came close to my heap of stones. I sprang erect, hissing and swelling, for I had not time to escape. He paused and looked at me. "Beautiful thing," he said in a tone of sadness. "Strike if you will, I shall not harm you." He threw himself on the ground near me. He was unarmed. Ashamed, but incredulous, I dropped back into a coil and lay watching him, motionless save for the slow sliding of my head from side to side. He looked at me steadily. "That a snake could be so beautiful," he said in the same sad tone. He reached out his hand with a caressing motion. "Come," he said, "we are alone. Let us be friends. His eyes drew me with an irresistible fascination. A new, strange feeling stirred me. I uncoiled and slid to him with graceful undulations. He laid his hand upon me, and both of us were without fear. Days passed. I learned gradually that he had come there to forget a woman. He pitched a tent near the stones and dwelt there. I followed him everywhere. I never permitted him to get out of my sight. I slept at his feet, and with the first dawn ray, I found his hand and curled upon it, waiting patiently for his caress. One night, when the moon hung large and yellow on the violet breast of the sky, he threw himself upon his blankets and held his hands out to me. "I am sorrowful tonight, Lilith," he said. He called me that. "Come close, closer, my beautiful. Make me forget other nights." In that hour, as I slid into the warmth of his breast, I knew that sometime, somewhere, I had been a woman. Oh, the wild, sweet, passionate love that shook me. Oh, to utter but one word of it. Oh, to have hands to caress him, soft arms to enfold him, red lips to find his kisses. What had been my sin then, when I was a woman, that I should have been recreated in this form? Beautiful, oh beautiful, yes, but unfitted for any save the lower loves, and this love was of the highest, the love of woman for man. I shrank quivering from the memory of that other love. So must a woman shrink, loathing and shuddering, from the memory of such a love, when through some great, exalting passion, a new and noble soul has been born in her. Having no arms and no lips, I curled close, close into his breast, and around his splendid throat I drew my throbbing coils. Then it was that he said, "Lilith, what eyes you have! They are like two little lamps of crimson fire, glowing in the dusk." All that night, and many others, I slept there. In the gorgeous pomp of an August dawn, the man awoke with the snake twined about him. The woman he had been trying to forget stood beside him. He flung the snake from him and stretched out trembling arms to the woman. "Dearest," she cried, "did you think I could bear it? I knew better. I have followed you, and I shall never leave you again." She sank to him, sobbing, and laid her mouth upon his. He put his arms around her and held her there silently. Suddenly she screamed and sprang erect. "A snake! Kill it! Kill it!" It was coiled, hissing to spring at her. Already his hand was on his revolver. There was a flash. The woman screamed again. The snake was dead. In a moment, the man had flung it outside the tent and caught her sobbing and trembling to his breast. "Oh, my dearest," he cried. "If the reptile had struck you, I should have turned the revolver on myself. Oh, my beloved, this accursed time without you. Give me your arms, your lips. Let us make up for this awful time apart."